A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant development for Ukraine's ongoing struggle against Russian aggression, European Union leaders convened on December 19, 2025, to agree on a substantial €90 billion interest-free loan aimed at supporting the war-torn nation. This financial package is set to cover two-thirds of Ukraine's financial needs over the next 2 years, a critical lifeline as the Ukrainian government teeters on the brink of bankruptcy. The agreement, while celebrated by many European leaders as a demonstration of solidarity with Ukraine, also highlights the EU's inability to unlock frozen Russian assets that were initially considered as a potential funding source for military aid. According to France 24's Brussels correspondent, Dave Keating, the joint borrowing initiative underscores the EU's commitment to Ukraine, but raises questions about the effectiveness of its strategies against Moscow. Ukraine, grappling with the aftermath of nearly 4 years of conflict, is estimated by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, to require approximately £120 billion over the next 2 years to stabilize its economy. The urgency for funds is palpable, with Kyiv officials warning that without immediate financial support, the country could face a severe shortfall as early as spring 2026. Initially, EU leaders had aimed to utilize some of the £160 billion worth of Russian assets frozen in Europe, primarily in Belgium, to finance Ukraine's military efforts. However, Russian President Vladimir Putin issued stern warnings against such a move, threatening severe repercussions for the EU if it proceeded with the plan. Speaking at his annual end-of-year conference, Putin condemned the proposal as robbery, asserting that the consequences for the EU would be dire if they attempted to access these assets. In the wake of these threats, Kirill Dmitriev, Putin's special envoy for investment and economic cooperation, hailed the EU's decision to abandon the plan to use frozen Russian reserves, framing it as a victory for law and sanity. Dmitriev's comments, made on social media platform X, underscored the Kremlin's relief at the EU's decision, which he characterized as a blow to what he termed EU warmongers. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been vocal in his appeals to European leaders, urging them to deliver the necessary financial support to ensure Ukraine's continued resistance against Russian forces. He warned that failure to act promptly could jeopardize the country's war effort and lead to catastrophic consequences. The situation was further complicated by the reluctance of some EU member states, particularly Belgium, to support the reparations loan proposal. Belgian Prime Minister Bart De Wever expressed concerns over the legal risks associated with utilizing frozen Russian assets and warned that it could have detrimental effects on Belgium's financial institutions. Reports from intelligence agencies indicated that Belgian bankers had faced intimidation from Russia's military intelligence agency, GRU, further complicating the decision-making process. Despite the opposition, EU Council President Antonio Costa announced the approval of the €90 billion loan, emphasizing that this decision represents a pragmatic approach to securing Ukraine's financial stability. However, not all EU nations were on board with the loan package. Hungary, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic expressed their opposition, although a compromise was reached that allowed the agreement to proceed without their explicit support. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, known for his close ties to Putin, articulated his reservations about the EU's involvement in the conflict, stating, "To give money means war." He dismissed the idea of using frozen Russian assets as a viable solution, labeling it a dead end. French President Emmanuel Macron commended the loan agreement as a significant step forward, asserting that borrowing from capital markets was the most realistic and practical means of financing Ukraine's needs. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz echoed this sentiment, praising the decision as a necessary measure to bolster Ukraine's defenses. As the EU navigates the complexities of supporting Ukraine while managing relations with Russia, the implications of this loan agreement will be closely monitored. The ongoing conflict has not only strained Ukraine's economy, but has also tested the unity and resolve of European nations in the face of external threats. The coming months will reveal whether this financial support can effectively aid Ukraine in its struggle for sovereignty and stability against the backdrop of a relentless war. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, So hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.